really looking forward to this. And you are in a room full of creators. They've all sent at least one picture. Creators and influencers. Look, everyone now wants to be a creator, and it's moving up so fast. In the UK, all the kids, I think there's a stat out there that's saying more kids now wanting to become content creators than they wanted to become football players or soccer players, as you guys would call it, which is a massive, massive change. But it comes with challenges. And Christen, I want to start with you. I mean, what does it take to build real influence today online? And how do creators balance authenticity with business growth?
I think building an audience is actually a lot easier than people would imagine. It really is about vulnerability, consistency, and we were talking about this backstage of like being the discipline of continuing to show up and put content out there. And then I think also just connecting with the audience that you're building. I've worked with so many creators over the years who have like 10,000 followers, but they're more influential than many creators that have 1 million followers. So it's really about, you know, connecting and continuing to connect with the audience that you're building and being authentic and taking on partnerships and working with brands that are really, that you believe in and are true to, you know, your brand.
I find that fascinating where you say someone with 10,000 followers can have more of an influence than someone with 1 million followers. Could you delve into that a little bit deeper, please?
I think it's really about, you know, the type of content that you're creating, right? So the creator that I'm speaking about that comes to mind, she has a disability and she connects with her audience and tells people how to be, not be an ableist. And so really just, I think having an audience that's tuned in and really interested in what you have to say and the partnerships that she's had compared to maybe just another creator who doesn't really take the time to connect or build their audience. And you look at, you know, how business savvy a lot of creators are getting. They're launching their own newsletters, their own products, and all of that really can build a strong brand.
And by the way, not being ableist is a good philosophy for life, you know.
Yes.
That's cool. Pat, just that, you know, online, the whole creator world and social media, it is a world that sometimes can look like a world of, what have I got it here? It's curated perfection. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
You know, everyone's got filters. Everyone's looking like they're having their best lives. Even people who are struggling are so articulate in the way they're struggling.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's mad, isn't it? But life is messy, isn't it? But people even do messy skillfully.
They cry
online.
so nice and dignified.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Pass all
I
out.
find it nuts. I mean, so like, how do you create authentic content in that world?
Well, first of all, we were talking about this. First, I was born in 1970. So y'all know this was not even a part of our discussion. Oh, nobody else is going to join me in that?
No, you look,
okay,
you look good.
I was going to say.
You look good. You look good for 1970.
Thank you, Ade. So the point is, this is a whole new world. For me, I grew up with Oprah Winfrey. And I'm like, oh, I want a show like Oprah. Like, I want to touch people in that way, right? I was a journalism major and then went on to win the Miss Virginia USA pageant, become the first African-American to do that. Thank you. Shamina's from Virginia, so she gets the VA thing. But, you know, I just had a whole nother path that I had planned out. And God took me another route. And before I knew it, I moved to LA. But then I was married to, I don't know if y'all know comedian Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you go, boy.
Bad boy.
Bad boy, that's right. I'm going to do a movie, by the way, called Good Girls.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. And so, you know, that then put me in a different position in LA because the light was very, very bright there, even though I was pursuing television and acting. When that did not work out, y'all don't judge me, but about a few years later, I married Emmitt Smith, who plays for the Dallas Cowboys, or used to play. So
not messing about with your marriage. Got game.
Don't even let me get started there. Because, you know, like I don't even like the premise. Like I hear people out there on social media talking about gold diggers, and I'm like, oh, no.
No.
We are the gold.
Yeah.
We are the gold. And so, yes, I find that with powerful men, typically there are very powerful women that work alongside them. But yes, I ended up getting married, moving to Dallas, Texas, where, Texas is big, the Cowboys are big, and again was in the shadows. So I hadn't gotten to Oprah yet. You know what I mean? I'm getting further away. Well, thank God to now social media. And little by little, as I was working out the issues in my life, whether it was, losing loved ones, going through divorces, I have a blended family, so raising 5 kids blended. It was quite the place that I used just to share and be vulnerable. And from that, created retreats. So mine was not necessarily at the time doing it and thinking about revenue. I was just doing it because I loved it. I love to help people heal. I wanted to give hope. And I felt like there is no way possible God could have allowed me to go through all of this and not use it.
See, after that little speech there, I'm pressing follow, straight, standard. No, that I felt the authenticity, and that's what we're talking about, is that genuine reach, that connection. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. And in this creator world, Christen, is there something that traditional institutions can learn from this creator world?
I think it's really just, I think creators have become such a big, I guess it's become so big. The creator economy has become big because they're real, and I think a lot of brands show up online. You have a social media team and a legal team with so much red tape, and I think the thing people love about creators is their transparency, and we're starting to see so much more of that, I think, as a trend of creators just being real and speaking about hey, I built a business, but I had to move back in with my parents. I had to do this and do that. And I think that vulnerability and that transparency, I think it's human and it resonates with people and it inspires people. And so I think big corporations can kind of lean into transparency and kind of the why behind this new campaign we're doing, and also bring creators into the conversation. We're seeing more of that. We're seeing top creators in Super Bowl ads and, in more of these traditional marketing campaigns. And I think that's really smart.
And if someone's trying to become a creator now, or even if they're in there at the moment, how do they turn that, and both of you can answer this, how do they turn this into a sustainable career?
Well, she and I talked about this in the back. We had a whole panel discussion, by the way. Christen is my girl. She's going to be representing me on some deals. I think even Match.com, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she got me.
This is good. This is good.
Good, right? I'm like, hey. So the point is for me, because I really did start as just this girl, getting on, talking about the stuff I was going through, asking for prayer. I built this genuine relationship. They call it your tribe. I got a tribe. You come up there tripping, and one of my members is gonna come go for you. And I'll say, look, not here. We don't do that over here, right? So there's this real beautiful community happening. I have never looked at it in the way as far as how do I make a sustainable living from it.
Okay.
However, from my platform, it enabled me to then write a book. So I had a book, Second Chances, from that platform. Host retreats for women, give, because that's my heart, to nonprofit work, helping women who are in emergency need of help. So for me, it's really been, this is my base. First of all, I don't think anyone creates a brand, personally. You are your brand. Okay. You are who you show up to be, right? So for me, it's this is who I am. If something natural comes along and it's a great fit, I'm all in. But if it's I don't have dogs, so I'm not going to sell dog food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
kind of authenticity, isn't it? Yeah.
For real. That would be so unauthentic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it's always, if I am going online, it's got to be aligning with things that fit really nice to who I naturally am. And then again, when you talk about monetizing that, think not just what is IG going to pay me, what is Facebook going to pay me, what's TikTok going to give me per. First of all, it's not a lot. Right, Christen? I mean, I get sometimes it's 2 cents, 1 cent. I think I have this great reel, and I'm like, that's it? So I think it's very important to think about what businesses you're building outside of your platform that align with you, that will give you the ability to monetize it.
That's really, really good words there. I mean, Christen, what new business models are emerging in the creative economy, and how are they helping to expand access to underrepresented voices?
I think the biggest thing is we're seeing this new wave of like creatorpreneurs, so entrepreneurs.
Creatorpreneur.
Creatorpreneur. So launching their own like physical businesses or digital businesses. But I think the thing that's super exciting is what you mentioned. It's making a lot of industries more accessible. So when I was working at TikTok, for example, we would get all of these requests from like brands like Netflix, or we had a request from Prada for New York Fashion Week saying, hey, what creators do you know who are photographers? Because we want them at the front row of these shows. Or what creators do you know who are aspiring actors? I think the great thing about putting content out there is you don't have to have connections to the entertainment industry. If you're creating quality, entertaining content and you have talent, it'll be seen. And a lot of times working with creators that I worked with, I saw these insane success stories of creators being signed to huge Hollywood agencies like WME and CAA and UTA within 1 year, where they had come from like the Bronx or living in poverty, and their life was completely changed by content with no connections. And I think that's really exciting.
I mean, that really connects to my next question, and it's so beautiful that this social media in the right way is democratizing talent. It's giving opportunities to more people. But what tools, platforms, and policies do you think are needed to make it more equitable for global creators?
What do you think?
Well, I launched my app, Clara for Creators, because I was working with creators over the last 12 years. And with the boom of TikTok, I started to see a lot of pay disparities happening.
Yeah.
Because you have this new workforce of creators who are, a lot of them aren't college educated, or they worked trade jobs. And all of a sudden they're getting partnerships with huge brands like Nike, and they don't know how.
So it's easy for them to get exploited, is that what?
Exactly. And what I was seeing was a lot of like the Black and brown creators, were like, oh, I'll do a video for $200.
Yeah.
And then you have another creator who maybe had more experience charging $20,000. Yeah. And so I think in terms of things that are needed, we need more protection in terms of the workforce. When you look at traditional jobs, we have minimum wage, right? We don't have that for content creation. And so as a result, there's a lot of pay disparities. And so the content creator world is still very much like the Wild Wild West, because there's not a lot of protections, there's not rules or regulations in terms of payment terms and creators getting paid on time. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of getting the creator economy up to speed with other industries.
So do they need more agents like you?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And can I say, we also need, you mentioned regulations. We grew up the FCC. Totally, growing up, you could not say certain things on TV, you could not show certain things. And I believe there's no social media police, right? Again, we never want to take away people's creativity and their voice, but there's gotta be more, because I think there's so much meanness that's going on, and it's just spreading. It's like a really negative virus where I think we're going to start to lose great voices because they don't want to be a part of it.
No, that's really, really important thing to say. And a lot of us are always scared of that word regulation, but in some circumstances, it's needed.
It is.
It's a sign of maturity of a nation. Look, we're close to the end. I just want to finish on a last question from both of you. And what's one lesson every aspiring creator should keep in mind about resilience, purpose, and staying true to their story?
Yeah.
Christen.
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I would say is like content creation, especially in 2025, it's not too late to start. I have just seen so many awesome success stories in content creation really propelling careers of all types, corporate careers, entertainment, music careers. And these people didn't start 10 years ago. When you think of before the pandemic, a lot of the creators I had been working with, you had to have been a creator for years and years and have a successful blog. Fast forward to now, what we used to tell people when I worked at TikTok was every video is like a lottery ticket. The more content that you're putting out there, you never know who's gonna see it. It doesn't take a million views to get the right person to see your content. You never know who's watching. And we were talking about even creating content for LinkedIn. You know, you have a huge high profile audience on LinkedIn and I had a LinkedIn partner who told me there's more consumption of content, but there's not enough content. So you have all these people trying to go to LinkedIn to consume content, but not enough people creating. So there's huge opportunities still in 2025 that people can take advantage of.
That's exciting.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the realness. I just believe that when you're looking at social media, it can be so intimidating.
Yes.
Because now people are doing highly produced videos and y'all, there's a filter for everything, right? And so I don't want people to be intimidated by that, because I was. Because I feel like, well, I can't produce something like that. I don't have the equipment or the team. We were talking about that. But I'd say, no, use what you got.
Love
I
it.
guarantee you there's something that you have that somebody else needs.
Amazing, amazing. Christen, Pat, thank you so much. That was so enlightening.
I'm glad you met.
Brilliant, lovely. Thank you. Wow.